The following movie is rated R.
You were asked point blank to denounce white supremacy. In the moment, you didn't. You asked some follow-up questions. Who specifically? A couple of days later, on a different show, you denounced white supremacy.
No, you
My
always
question to you is,
you've done this to
why
me and
does
everybody.
It seem like
I denounce white supremacy. Okay.
Okay, I think we've cleared that up. Let's talk about another issue that has bubbled up, and this is your comments on a CNN program where you were asked about David Duke, former Grand Wizard of the KKK. You said 3 times in this interview, "I don't know who David Duke is," and you refused to disavow or distance yourself from him. Now, a lot of people are scratching their heads over that because, number one, you disavowed David Duke 2 days prior. Why are you pretending that you are acting as though you don't know who this person is? Why not disavow David Duke, disavow the KKK? What's going on?
I denounce white supremacy, okay?
You did 2 days later.
I've denounced white supremacy for years, but you always do it. You always start off with the question. You didn't ask Joe Biden whether or not he denounces Antifa. I watched him on the same basic show with Lester Holt, and he was asking questions like Biden was a child.
Well, so this is a little bit of a dodge.
Are you listening? I denounce white supremacy.
Okay.
What's your next question?
She said I did it. My leggings were ugly.
I also told her yesterday she needs to be pushier.
Yeah,
more
she did.
pushy.
To get you to go?
No, just in life.
She goes, "Savannah, you need to be more pushy." And I go, "Said no one ever." And I'm like,
well, first of all, he talked about David Group and other groups. He talked about other groups.
Yeah, but you said 3 times, "I don't know who David Duke is."
No. Well, I know who he is, but I never met David Duke. So when you talk about it, I never met David Duke.
But in 2000, you refused to run on the Reform Party platform because David Duke was a member of it.
David Duke a day before at a major press conference, and I'm saying to myself, how many times do I have to continue to disavow people? And the question was asked about David Duke and various groups. And I don't know who the groups are. I said, would you do me a favor and tell me the groups? He was unable to tell me
He says, "I'm just talking about David Duke and the Ku Klux Klan here." And you said, "Honestly, I don't know David Duke."
Okay, so let me tell you. I'm sitting in a house in Florida with a very bad earpiece that they gave me, and you could hardly hear what he was saying. But what I heard was various groups, and I don't mind disavowing anybody, and I disavowed David Duke, and I disavowed him the day before at a major news conference, which is surprising because he was at the major news conference. CNN was at the major news conference, and they heard me very easily disavow David Duke.
Okay.
What's your next question?
Do you feel, it feels sometimes you're hesitant to do so, like you wait a beat.
Here we go again. Every time, in fact, my people came, I'm sure they'll ask you the white supremacy question. I denounce white supremacy.
Okay.
And frankly, you want to know something? I denounce Antifa, and I denounce these people on the left that are burning down our cities that are run by Democrats who don't know what they're doing.
While we're denouncing, let me ask you about QAnon.
Now I go and I sit down again. I have a lousy earpiece that is provided by them. And frankly, he talked about groups. He also talked about groups. And I have no problem with disavowing groups, but I'd at least like to know who they are. It would be very fair to disavow a group, Matt, if the group shouldn't be disavowed. I have to know who the groups are. But I disavowed David Duke. Now, if you look on Facebook, right after that, I also disavowed David Duke. When we looked at it and looked at the question, I disavowed David Duke. So I've disavowed David Duke all weekend long on Facebook, on Twitter.
What do you do if Donald Trump showed up at the Trump? Murder him? Murder him for the people? How about you, man?
Man, I'll tell Trump to get on the floor and scrub those toilets himself. Because he don't know how to fuck clean. He needs to learn.
He needs to learn how to clean? Scrub some toilets?
Yeah.
Fucking murder him.
I mean, yo, he's America's Caesar, except he's a dickhead. So, you gotta take him down. You gotta take him down. You gotta take him down.
Fuck Trump! Fuck Trump!
Let me ask you about QAnon. It is this theory that Democrats are a satanic pedophile ring and that you are the savior of that. Now, can you just once and for all state that that is completely not true and that disavow QAnon in its entirety?
I know nothing about QAnon.
I just told you.
I know very little. You told me, but what you tell me doesn't necessarily make it fact. I hate to say that. I know nothing about it. I do know they are very much against pedophilia. They fight it very hard, but I know nothing about it.
They believe it is a satanic cult run by the deep state.
Study the subject. I'll tell you what I do know about. I know about Antifa, and I know about the radical left, and I know how violent they are and how vicious they are, and I know how they're burning down cities run by Democrats, not run by Republicans.
Republican Senator Ben Sass said, quote, QAnon is nuts, and real leaders call conspiracy theories conspiracy theories.
He may be
Why
right.
not just say it's crazy and not true?
He may be right. I just don't know about QAnon.
You do know.
I don't know. No, I don't know. I don't know.
Let me ask you another thing.
Let's waste a whole show. You start off with white supremacy, I denounce it. You start off with something else, let's go. Keep asking me these questions.
If it came down to it and it was a group effort, we'd have to do him like Gaddafi. We'd have to do him like Gaddafi. We'd have to do him like Gaddafi.
Like Gaddafi?
Yeah.
What would you do if Donald Trump showed up?
Yeah, no, I'm gonna wild out.
You'd wild out?
Yeah.
Yeah?
I would fuck with him. He's
Yeah.
fucked up.
You'd fuck him up?
Yeah. If I get a chance to, I would do that.
What's that?
If I get a chance to fuck him up, I would.
Chance to fuck him up? You would? Yeah. Looks like you got a system right there.
I do have one more in this vein.
Let me just tell you, what I do hear about it is they are very strongly against pedophilia. And I agree with that. I mean, I do agree with that, and I agree with it very strongly.
But there's not a satanic pedophile
I have
cult
no
being run
idea.
by.
I know
You
nothing
don't
about
know that? Okay.
No, I don't know
you
that.
Just this
neither
week.
do you know that.
Okay, just this week you
why
retweeted.
Why aren't you asking me about Antifa? Why aren't you asking me about the radical left?
Because you're
why
volunteering
aren't you asking Joe Biden questions about why doesn't he condemn Antifa? Why does he say it doesn't exist?
Because you're here before me.
No, that's so cute. Antifa exists. They're vicious, they're violent, they kill people, and they're burning down our cities. And they happen to be radical left.
If the president showed up at this march, what would you do, sir? Beat his ass. Beat his ass? If Trump showed up today, what would you do, sir?
I'd throw the fucking bell at him.
You'd throw a bell at him?
Yeah, why not?
All right. What would you say?
Tell him to fuck off.
All right. What's that shirt say?
Trump is a jag-off.
I'd piss on his leg.
What's that?
I'd piss on his leg.
If he goes out here, I would tell his wife to go home and for him to get on his jet and get the fuck out of here.
Did a great job. And I had a great thank you. I had a lot of fun last night with that. That was a nice evening. It's a nice pleasurable evening. I have somebody going totally crazy last night. But I told you that. She told me. She's going to tell. Oh, okay, I'll believe you, right?
I know nothing about QAnon.
I just told you.
I know very little. You told me, but what you tell me doesn't necessarily make it fact. I hate to say that.
She told me. She's going to tell. Oh, okay, I'll believe you, right? No, but I understand that worked out very well last night. That's what the word is, so it's good. Another evening in paradise, I call it.